Dr. Peterson and Dr. Smith are two opposing personalities, and they were the perfect balance for the creation of this practice. Dr. Peterson is a visionary and was ready to take over the world, and Dr. Smith is more conservative and wanted to make sure that we didn't do anything that we didn't have a backup plan for.
Ocala was in 1966 pretty rural. It was mostly cattle, peanut and watermelon type farming community. The pace of horse farm life was a lot slower at that time. West of I-75 was practically barren of any commercial facilities like they have today. The horse business was pretty new. Actually, I was like the 8th equine veterinarian that showed up in Ocala. You know, now we have small farms, a lot of small farms, not very many big farms. Then we had big farms and not very many small farms.
Of course, I came along a good bit behind John, but the area was still somewhat similar to what John described.
I knew Johnny Mac was pretty busy, and I tried to sell him on the idea that if we got together, we could have some free time and spend some time with the family and cover each other and not have to work all the time. And
I think both of us were a little over our heads. I had like a 1.5 man practice, and I think you had about a 1 3/4 man practice.
Dr. Phil Matthews was just graduating from Colorado State, and he'd been down here to talk to Johnny Mac about a job, but hadn't gotten very far with it.
I first came to Ocala as a student on a visit, and I ended up spending the next 35, 36 years here as a veterinarian. And the reason is because it's such a great opportunity for horse people to do what they want to do with horses, whether it's breeding. It doesn't matter what the discipline is, it doesn't matter what the breed is. It's a great climate, it's a great environment for horses and the horse business. And therefore, it's a great climate for the veterinary business.
3 veterinarians, 1 secretary, and we were working out of the stud barn at my little farm.
We went to work for Johnny Mac and John Peterson. That was the formation of Peterson and Smith. And I was their first hire, signing papers on John Peterson's kitchen table. And that's where it began, and it was a lot of work, a lot of potential, a lot of horses, not really very many veterinarians. Things just took off fast and furious from that point.
We had been talking about getting a hospital built and trying to expand our practice, and Johnny Mac and I kind of went all over the country looking for a surgeon because we decided that we were too busy to be surgeons and practicing veterinarians both, and we weren't expertise enough to be surgeons, so we would hire a surgeon and build a hospital, and that's where our growth started. And actually, after Dr. Matthews came, we were still way too busy, and we said, we need more help. And Dr. Matthews said, well, I had a classmate that probably would come to work for us, and so he called Dr. Hahn, and Dr. Hahn came. And
graduated in 1981 from Colorado State University with Dr. Matthews, one of my partners. He came down here in '81 to go to work for Dr. Peterson, Dr. Smith. And then I came down after doing an internship in Denver at Littleton Large Animal Clinic in '82. And we built the hospital in '83, and Sloan came, and we moved on from there.
We picked up Dr. Sloan mostly by luck, but he was a teaching professor at Auburn University, and he agreed to come down and look around. And
the grand opening of this hospital was July the 10th. I got here right about June 1st and helped with the kind of the final preparations of getting the equipment in here to do anesthesia and surgery equipment, etc.
He decided he would come, so we had our core basis of 5 veterinarians that we worked together pretty well, I think, and continued to grow. And every time we would get a good veterinarian working for us, we'd say, well, you know, we maybe ought to keep that person and let them grow into the practice, and it kind of just kept snowballing that way.
We couldn't hire people hardly fast enough to keep up with the work that we got. So worked out pretty well. And we were blessed, I think, with people who shared our work ethic and our ideals of rendering good service to clients and rendering when it's needed.
When I started here, we did not have a sports medicine specialist. We did not have an internal medicine specialist. We did not have a reproduction center. And now we have all of those things and are cutting edge in all of those departments.
We were faced with a need that we tried to fill. There was a lot of skeptics that said that we couldn't do it. We did it anyway, and I think that the lesson to take from that is to not be afraid to step forward and,
Right.
and to be bold.